things that kind of go on under our noses that can help you feel wonder and more connected to the world despite the pandemic and the unfortunate situations, going around for a lot of us. In our study, we encouraged people to feel awe during weekly 15-minute walks. And all we did was we told participants what awe is. We said it was a positive emotion that we feel when we go new places, when we feel the sense of wonder, and we asked them to try to tap into that childlike sense of wonder and to go somewhere new if they could. But really, it's just about focusing on the details of the world around you. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck in our heads and not notice the world, even as we're walking outside. And so it's that really just little shift of attention outward onto the things right in front of our noses that we might be missing. In general, exercise and being outside is good for us. There's lots of research because it helps us to feel calmer, and our mood improves when we spend time outside. Exercise is really important for boosting our mood as well as for lots of physical benefits. So in our study, we wanted to see whether increasing experiences of awe, in addition to just walking, had additional benefits.
What we know is that nature definitely helps calm our central nervous system, and being outside is in and of itself medicine. Lots of research is showing that leisure time outdoors is really beneficial. But then there's that more targeted or intentional approach to spending time in nature, where you're actually cultivating a sense of mindfulness so that you're really grounding in that present moment awareness as you're spending time outside. So I would say that bringing in some mind-body practices into our time in nature is a very cutting-edge approach that more and more people are looking at.
Awe is such an interesting positive emotion, is that it helps us to feel more connected with others. So it's not just like we feel good on our own, but we feel more, we feel part of a larger community. And when people feel awe, they are more humble and more generous and kind. So of all the positive emotions, I think it's a great one to try to cultivate, even in small ways in our everyday lives, because it has broader implications for helping our society.
But there was definitely this area of experiencing awe in nature, of kind of that breathtaking experience where something really inspires a sense of beauty and a sense of perspective. And so the Greater Good, the Center for Greater Good Science, they created this thing called an awe walk. And it's a therapeutic activity that you can do. You can Google it. And I started using it with my students at Texas State. And it is just a simple activity of walking in nearby nature. So I can walk out my front door and, just look around at this. We're finally getting some spring flowers coming up today. I actually did it today kind of inadvertently because I've been doing it for so long, and I noticed these gorgeous big fat yellow tulips that were coming up through the ground, and it just made me so happy. And so I think that's the point that I want to make, is what we're actually doing from a neuroscience perspective is that we are practicing orienting ourselves to sensations of well-being and joy. And of course, because of our, history of survival as a human species, we're hardwired to notice danger. We're hardwired to notice threat. And now we're all living through a global pandemic, and we're bombarded by news stories and all the things that are causing a collective amount of anxiety for all of us. And so our brains are kind of hypervigilant to threat right now. And so taking the time to actually cultivate, intentionally practicing, noticing and focusing on things that bring you a sense of beauty and joy, create new neural pathways that are connected to human resilience. So it's It's beautiful, and yes, you can experience awe in lots of places, but I think that the natural world offers just an exceptional laboratory for developing those new pathways.
It's a really windy day here in the Santa Monica Mountains above Los Angeles, and we're gonna go on a mindful walk.
I only recently realized that's one of the names for something I've been doing a lot over the past year. During the pandemic, I made it a point to get outdoors, put my phone away, and try to connect with nature and reconnect with myself.
It's pretty incredible. Understatement. Some people call this awe walking. Some people call it a walking meditation. There's even an ancient Japanese practice of taking a mindful walk through a forest that's known here in America as forest bathing. But it's all really just being present while you walk. And it can be out in nature in a beautiful place. It can also be right in the middle of a city. The point is not to do things right or follow 5 rules. The point is just to be present. So I'm going to give you a couple of guidelines, some ways that you can begin to understand what it means to take a mindful walk. So let's get going. The first thing to consider on a mindful walk is your breath. You want to inhale for 5 seconds. And then when your lungs are full, hold your breath in for 5 seconds. And then when you exhale, maybe even like let out an audible sigh, some sort of noise, just let it go. And it's also important to keep in mind that your mind is going to wander. You're going to have thoughts pop into your head, and that's okay. It happens to everyone constantly. The idea is just to be aware of when you lose presence, of when you start thinking about something that happened or planning something that you need to do. Just acknowledging without judgment, hey, I'm thinking right now, but oh, you know what? Look at these leaves, look at this beautiful flower. Whatever you can do to just gently bring yourself back to the present moment. And every once in a while, it also helps to check back in with your breath. Bringing yourself back to your breath is a really easy way to bring yourself back to the present moment. Another way you can check in is by looking at the colors around you and considering what is the color that I see least of. There's of course a bright blue sky and lots of green and brown, but what are those less common colors around you? It might also be sound. It might be the sound of your feet hitting the dirt or gravel or pavement or wherever you are. And this does not need to be a fast walk. It can be at whatever pace you would like, because it's not about distance or time. It's really just about the quality of the moments while you're out on a mindful walk. Are you connecting with your 5 senses and getting out of your head? Wow, getting into the moment.